toys and making it make sounds that it was never intended to make. That's the sort of the essence of circuit bending. It's getting harder, actually, to circuit bend because modern stuff is all self-contained, very difficult. It's all circuit bound. Usually there's one chip inside of a toy with a big chunk of epoxy over it, and you can't do anything with it. So your best bet is always to get older toys. If you go to like the pre-surface mounted component era, before 1990 or so, any toy from that era is going to have a circuit board that looks like what you're working on today. All the components are going to be out. There's going to be lots of analog stuff, really easy to bend. But even with modern stuff, you can bend a little bit. So let me show you an example. This is a mini space rocker. It's a design from Eric. So this is great because it's an all analog. So I'm just going to circuit bend it. So you say, well, okay, I've got a thing that makes noise. How do I bend it and make it sound different? Well, the first thing that you would do, believe it or not, is to lift your finger and touch the circuit board. So that's called touch points. So generally when you circuit bend something, you're going to take it apart, you're going to get at the board, you're going to find weird points like that, and then you're going to solder wires to it, bring it out to the outside of the device. This little guy, again, is an example. I put wires inside and brought them out to sort of a jack here. And then you'd be able to control it, put it back together, and then make weird noises. So what you do is find those various points. So I'm touching here, nothing, 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 nothing. Ah, here you go. So I'm touching that. Now, what you're hearing that wow wow sound because it's using the resistance of the body, and that varies. Like a lie detector. Resistance in your skin, which varies.
Oh, okay.
How much contact there is. So when I press, I get a different sound than if I press lightly. If I lick my finger, then I get much more resistance. If I'm sweating, then it works even better. So what you do is you solder wires to those 2 points that we just found, bring them out, and now you have touch points. Play the thing, and then make brand new sounds. Another thing to do, since I'm a resistor and I just found this point, would be to take an actual resistor and put it in there, and again, just touch points together, and you're going to find different points that change the timbre of the sound. So now I've made the sound higher pitched. So what I would typically do is then I would take those points and I would wire in a potentiometer. That's the variable resistor, like you would with the ones on the board you're working with today. So now I can take that and do what is referred to as a pitch bend, which is the most common type of bend you're going to find, where you can take basically the same sound and then change the note. So that's the essence of circuit bending. And you can really just rip anything open and start bending it. I have some other examples here that are a little more complex. So this little guy in my right hand, ignore what's in my left hand. This is a bird calendar. This was a calendar that had a regular calendar on the top, and at the bottom there were 12 buttons, and when you press it, you hear bird sounds. Like an owl. Or whatever that is. It's a bird. Chicken. Yeah, probably. So I ripped that board apart and tore the whole thing apart. So sometimes in circuit bending, like what people like to do is they like to open it up, find the points, attach wires, and bring them to the outside, and then seal it back up. So like this alphabet pal here, he's still whole and functional, but he can also be bent. And sometimes that's fun, and sometimes it's fun to just totally tear it apart, just rip the guts out. So this has,
it shows it.
See that black dot on there? That's all the surface. One chip, surface mounted on there.
Top. Oh no, I did those already.
Totally covered up by a blob of
See, there's a flat top to that.
You can't really do a lot,
Make sure you orient the
but
top of that.
this circuit has a resistor on
They're
it,
very different.
and it's the timing resistor. So
this.
very cool. It's a surface, means a tiny little box-shaped thing, not like the resistors you worked with today. So you have desoldered pliers and tweezers. I mean, so now I've wired a potentiometer in place of that that timing resistor, and now I can change the pitch. So here's that same owl sounding like, you know, a ghost or a Tweety bird or Woody woodpecker or a monkey. I think this one sounds like a monkey.
Yeah.
Some people say it sounds like a dog. Anyway.